Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today for the dedication ceremony for Doug and Snyder's wedding. On behalf of the William Allen administrative team, we are both excited and honored to host this special dedication. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. Restrooms are open out there in the lobby. Okay? And also, please follow the ASD masking policy, which requires mask wearing for all that are in attendance today. Please remain masked during the duration of the ceremony, and thank you for your cooperation. Leading our ceremony today will be William Allen Athletic Director, Randy Atiz. Thank you.
I joked with Mr. Fritz, I said I chose him because the microphone stand would be the same height. I'm making fun of myself too. So again, good afternoon everyone, it's great to be here with you all today. I'm going to warn everyone now, if the phone rings, I apologize. 3 to 4 p.m. is rush hour for an athletic director. It will most likely be a lost bus or an official confirming a game for the 4th time today. Before we get into the program, I'd like to thank some people who have helped make today possible. And if I miss anyone, I apologize. First, the Allentown School District Administration and School Board. We thank you for your support and approval of Doug Snyder's wedding. I wish to thank the officials of the City of Allentown who are here with us today, including City Councilors Darrell Hendricks, Mayor O'Connell, and newly elected and officially sworn in Mayor Matt Turk. Your support in renaming the section of Turner Street outside of the gym is a great example of the true partnership and appreciation for one another when it comes to the school district and the city working together. The street renaming truly helps to amplify the impact that Coach Snyder has had. I also want to thank all those here at William Allen who have helped to make this possible. As you saw coming in, it was a team effort. It's also incredible to see all the support of faculty and staff that are here from William Allen that came over after their school day. I'd also like to thank our student athletes, our cheerleaders, our boys and girls basketball players, and our band. Everyone knows, and I know Coach Snyder hated giving up pregame routines or disrupting pregame routines, as I know Coach Braswell does as well. So thank you. I wish to thank our guest speakers who are here with us today to share a few words. Keith Groller from the morning call and head boys basketball coach Darnell Braswell. Lastly, I want to thank someone special. Even though I know Coach Snyder will do the same thing, I would be remiss if I didn't personally thank Mrs. Liz Snyder, Coach Snyder's wife. Liz, thank you for allowing us to have Coach Snyder be a part of our school and family here at Allen. Both you and Coach will forever be part of this school's family. Now to start our program, I want to introduce our next speaker. He is in several sports Hall of Fames himself and has covered high school athletics in the Lehigh Valley for over 30 years. A product of the Allentown School District himself, from the morning call, Mr. Keith Groller.
It is a distinct pleasure to be here today to help pay tribute to one of the finest individuals that I've come across in many, many years of sports coverage here in the Lehigh Valley. This coming year, I will hit my 40th anniversary at the morning call. We think April, right? We think we're going to be here this year. Okay. But my 40th anniversary at the morning call. One of the first things you learn as a journalist, it's considered the cardinal rule of journalism. There's no cheering in the press box. And that goes for scores tables, anything involved with journalism, sports journalism, no cheering in the press box. You have to play it right down the line. Unbiased, no rooting, no cheering. However, there are certain people, players, coaches, athletic directors, who you can't help but admire and who you tend to root for over the years. Doug Snyder is certainly one of those people. While many folks know that I'm a product of the Allentown School District and I'm a graduate of Deer High School, I grew up in Canary Field. I go back to Allen basketball to the age of 8, 1969, my favorite Canary team. The lineup featured Tim Schmeidel, Bruce Ellingson, Mark Schultz, Jay Haynes, and my favorite, Darryl Salinci. Only old-time Allen basketball fans remember that great team. They won the league. They lost in the district final, or I believe the district semifinal, to Deer and the great Ross Ford and the great Dick Schmidt. So I grew up going to Canary games. I did miss a game. Tuesday, Friday, we went to the building that used to be over here called the Little Palestra. My favorite place ever. And as I was attending the games, Punkin Miller, legendary scorekeeper announcer, he would come by, take me down to the locker room. So I went down to the Canary locker room as an 8-year-old kid, and I would listen to the great J. Milo Swords give his halftime talks with the chalkboard. At that time, they were eating oranges. I was in heaven. Punkin would do this 2, 3, 4 times a year, and is he going to take me tonight? Is he going to take me tonight? So I would go down, and I revered Milo Swords. Fast forward a bunch of years, I got to work for the Morning Call. I got to know Milo as an athletic director, and I covered dozens, if not hundreds, of Allen basketball games when John Dommoyer was the coach. Milo Swords and John Dommoyer were great men of class and total integrity. And it's an honor again to be standing on John Dommoyer Court in J. Milo Swords gym. So when Doug Snyder comes back home to Allentown, he comes back to Princeton University, coach at Princeton High School. He had big shoes to fill. Make no mistake, big shoes to fill, huge shoes. Well, suffice to say, he filled them and then some. Doug Snyder won 364 games, 3 league championships, 3 District 11 titles, but those numbers only tell part of the story. The real numbers that measure Doug Snyder's value probably can't be counted, because those are the numbers of the young men and women he taught in his history class that he affected, that he helped shape, that he said, hey, you're special, I care about you, I want you to do well. He did it with dozens, if not hundreds, of boys basketball players in 23 seasons. He did it with hundreds of students in the classroom. I like to say he saved lives. That might be strong, but I believe hundreds of lives he saved. If not saved, he put them on the right path. He taught them right from wrong, said, look, you can do this, you can achieve, you can be something special from this city of Allentown, from this high school, William Allen High School. He did it by going the extra mile. He wasn't just a coach from the start of practice to the end of practice, or from the start of a game to the end of the game. He was there all the time, countless hours, somehow, some way reaching out to his kids, whether it was taxi service, doing whatever he could to make sure that they were okay, that they were safe, they were doing the right things, and they were on the right path again in life. So we're here to honor a great coach. He used to kid about the bathroom being honored. It's going to be a little bit more than a bathroom. A little bit more. I wish they would think of me and they would include the refreshment stand for you. I'd go back to the Doug Snyder refreshment stand. But the whole darn lobby is going to be named. It's going to have a street name for him. On a personal note, I just think the world of the guy. I can tell you that 3 years ago, almost to the day, January 16th, 2019, my father, who was the guy who took me, proud Allentown High School graduate, he would take me to the Little Palestra. He would take me to Jay Birdie Crumb Stadium. He's the one that got me into this thing. He got me involved. He thought high school was fantastic. Rocky brother. He was a Canary. Even though we lived on the east side, he was a Canary forever. And he had a stroke 3 years ago. One night, we were in the hospital. Part of basketball scene. I mean, it's a grind. And here comes Doug Snyder into the hospital to visit my father. And I will tell you that my dad lived for about a year after that. I can't count how many times he said, I can't believe Doug Snyder came to see me and offer his encouragement to me. So if he did that for my father, I can only imagine how he's always been there for all the hundreds of students he has coached and taught here at William Allen High School. And one final note, we live in a tough environment, very competitive league. Nobody likes anybody, trust me, I know. You know, Central doesn't like Becca, and Parkland doesn't like Emmaus, and Whiteland doesn't like Northampton, and on it goes. I will tell you, it's hard. It's hard to get universal respect. It's hard to say for anybody, for any school, to be universally admired and respected. I will tell you this, that everybody I know, not only from the East Penn Conference, but everybody I know from the Colonial League respects, admires, and appreciates all that Doug Snyder has done for this high school and for Lehigh Valley and District 11 basketball. This is one heck of an honor, and I have to tell you, no honor is more deserved than having Doug Snyder's Way dedicated today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. Mr. Grover mentioned the impact that Coach Snyder's had on the student athletes. Our next speaker is not only the current head coach of the William Allen boys basketball program, but he too played for Coach Doug Snyder. Today, Coach Braswell would like to share a few words with us. Coach Carmel Braswell.
Are we going to use this as the coach shout?
Coach Snyder. Coach, you know what you mean to me, right? You mean a lot to me. I wouldn't be in this position leading those young men over there if it wasn't for you, right? The importance of pride, right, in the community that you come from, you know, he did a really good job of putting that in the, you know, in the eyes, right, in the minds of young athletes. And the city of Allentown is not the place that I was birthed. But coming to this high school and playing for this man and, you know, Coach Smurder, Coach Freed, Coach Smith, for those guys, you know, I stand in front of you as a leader of young men, right? As a leader of young men over there. And, you know, he plays a huge role in that, right? Allentown is something that means a lot to me. It's something that means a lot to Coach Snyder, and they paid him, you know, to be in this position for 23 years, right? Not only as a coach, but as an educator, and as a person that instills confidence in the people to be successful, you know, leaders, right? Daquan Holiday is a guy who got a Division I scholarship, who's on my staff up there. That wouldn't be because of him, right? You know, we have Will Sane, who played for Coach Snyder, who runs, right, the Allentown Middle School program, right? So he done so many things for so many different people that, you know, no matter what I say, no matter what Keith says, no matter what former players say, his wife, his brother, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's never enough, right, to give this man who's sitting behind me, you know, enough credit for all he's done. So I appreciate you, Coach. I thank you. You know, the important thing for me is he instilled confidence in me to be something that I never thought would be possible. Never thought I'd be an educator, you know what I'm saying? Never thought I'd be a college All-American, right? Never thought I'd be a coach coaching men, young men, right? So because of you, right, I'm able to have a start to my career and do some things that, you know, I never thought was possible as a young student athlete. So thank you, right? This is just a small step in the token of appreciation that everybody has for you and all the work that you've done over the years. So enjoy this, right? You earned the right to ride off in the sunset and do everything that you deserve to do, right? Whether that's going down the beach, right? Going on campus, wherever, right? You deserve the chance to do all that stuff. So thank you, and you know, hopefully, you know, I pay it forward to these young men over here and those that follow, and you know, they stand in front of us doing the same thing that you did for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach Braswell. Next, I would like to invite Mayor Ray O'Connell, our newly elected Mayor Matt Turk, and City Council's Daryl Hendricks up to the podium to share a few words and read their proclamation.
First, I want to thank Keith Blower for taking all of my speech. Covered it all, Keith. Unbelievable. Keith is a diehard Allentonian. Very honored to be here today to honor Doug Snyder, an athlete, a coach, a teacher, and a mentor. Doug was an outstanding athlete. I think Mark Smith up there threw a few passes to Doug in 73 and 74. Did he catch him? But he was only one of 12 1,000-point scorers, and that's an honor in itself. Allentown from William Allen High School. As a head coach for 23 years, Doug's team won 364 games, earned 12 state tournament berths, 4 squads won the league title, and 4 more District 11 champions. During his tenure, he was Coach of the Year by the Morning Call and Express Times. There are banners in the gym that talk about the achievements of athletes and coaching, but there is much more. Doug Snyder was a leader in the school district. As a student, where he earned his way to a degree at Princeton University, and a history teacher when he came back home in the late 90s. His impact on the school, the students, and the community extends well beyond these walls. That's why it is fitting today that we honor Doug Snyder with a street in his name, Doug Snyder's Way. As Keith mentioned, Doug Snyder's Way, he guided the way for many youth to make them a better individual growing up. And believe me, as Keith said, he did save lives. He cared about them. Every summer, he'd get in that van, pick up the kids all around town, because they really couldn't get a ride here. He went and got them. He went to Philadelphia, played in the league, came back home with them, dropped them all off at the home, safe and sound. Teaching is a profession. Coaching is a profession. But Doug Snyder is the true meaning of a great, great man and a solid human being. He didn't only shape the lives of youth, he shaped the lives of adults that he touched. Many adults are here today. I'm a better person for knowing Doug Snyder, believe me. I saw him play football and basketball. But what he has done for the Allentown youth is immeasurable. There is a great man, Doug Snyder. We heard about Jay Bernie from him. We heard about Milo. We heard about Johnny Donwood. And there was a celebration here a few weeks ago honoring those men. Doug Snyder is right up there, believe me. Doug Snyder is a great man, and I'm honored to know Doug Snyder. And Doug, you said many times when you would retire, there were going to be a boys' bathroom after Doug Snyder. Well, I was talking to Keith a little earlier. You got the boys' bathroom, you got the girls' bathroom, you got the refreshment stand, and you got the ticket booth. But one thing, Doug Snyder coached for many, many years here. He never got a free hot dog or a free soda from Bowery Apple Burger. Thank you, Doug.
The privilege of living here for 68 years. It gives me great honor to speak today on the dedication Doug Snyder's way. As chair of the city's Parks and Recreation Committee, longtime employee of the city and the police department, and lifetime resident of the city of Allentown, who graduated from the city's schools, as did my children, it gives me great pleasure to recognize someone that has done so much for the city's youth. Through his teaching, mentoring, and coaching, Doug has had an immeasurable impact on the city's youth. He has led the way for everyone to follow. It is appropriate that this becomes Doug Snyder's way. Thank you.
Excellent, Daryl. I'm going to keep my mask on. Bear with me. I'm excited. This is my first proclamation as mayor of Allentown, so I couldn't be happier for such a great guy like Doug Snyder. So I'm going to memorialize a lot of what Mayor O'Connell just spoke to you, but this is in the form of a proclamation, so get ready for some whereases. Whereas on Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, friends, family will gather to honor Doug Snyder, athlete, coach, teacher, and mentor. And whereas his impact on William High School, the staff, students, and community that extend beyond the gym walls, it is fitting that he be honored with a street in his name. And whereas Doug was a leader in the Allentown School District as a student, he earned his way to a degree from Princeton University. He starred on the court. He is one of a dozen men's career 1,000-point scorers in 100 seasons of basketball at Allentown and William Allen High Schools. And whereas, as the head coach of 23 seasons, Doug's teams won 364 games and earned 12 state tournament berths. 4 squads won league titles and 4 were District 11 champions. During his tenure, he was honored as Coach of the Year by the Morning Call and the Express Times. Now, therefore, I, Matt Turk, Mayor of the City of Allentown, Pennsylvania, on behalf of all of our citizens and former Mayor Ray O'Connell, pause on this date to pay tribute to Doug Snyder and do furthermore hereby proclaim Wednesday, January 5th, 2022 as Doug Snyder Appreciation Day in Allentown.
Should have given him a street sign.
A big thank you again to the city of Allentown. So before we make things official here, this wouldn't be official unless I gave some of my personal Doug Snyder stories. So I'll just give you 2. During my first year in coaching with Coach Doug Snyder, I found myself after practice one day as a freshman coach, one-on-one with Coach in the coach's office. I remember being a little intimidated being around Coach that day. Or maybe it was just the coach's office and the old, ugly, sweat-stained couch in the office that I was sitting on. For the record, my first order of business after taking over as AD was getting that couch out of that office and into the nearest dumpster. If you know that couch, you know. Back to the story. Coach and I were having one of our first philosophical conversations that was probably the first of thousands we would go on to have over the next 10 years. Coach handed me a quote on an index card and read, "They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." That quote stuck with me and still does until today. I pretty much used it in every interview I've ever had since then. And I've been pretty successful, so thanks, Coach. I share that with you because that quote is the Doug Snyder way. And if his secret sauce can be summed up in one quote, that is it. The second story is one that many probably remember as it was done in front of thousands of people at the PPL Center in Allentown. In the final seconds of us winning the league championship at the PPL Center versus Liberty High School, one of our backup freshman point guards was in the game in the final seconds when he should have just dribbled the ball out. He throws up the ball to a teammate for an alley-oop. I believe Eli Vigo is sitting up there and he missed the dunk anyways. We love you, Eli. The final horn goes off, and in a moment when most coaches would have chosen to celebrate and high-five, Coach Snyder was there to teach one more lesson. He walked right over to that guard, put his arm around him, and taught him one more lesson about why that was not the right thing to do. There may be no better example than right there on that night of Doug Snyder Way. Again, teaching our young people the valuable life lessons to make sure that William Allen High School and our kids were represented the right way, the Doug Snyder way. So now to make it official, first I'd like to thank a special thank you to Mr. Pete Isles, English teacher at William Allen High School, who helped this phys ed teacher write this. Now dedicated on January 4th, 2022, the entryway to the gymnasium of William Allen High School shall now be known as Doug Snyder's Way and has been dedicated to Doug Snyder, William Allen High School alumnus, teacher, and coach. Coach Doug Snyder dedicated his life to serving the youth of Allentown, both in the classroom and on the basketball court. His way of teaching, mentoring, and coaching has touched our lives. His way has taught determination and provided strength and support to thousands of students, athletes, and colleagues. His way served as a source of pride and was a beacon to Canary athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Doug Snyder.
Eli, if I was throwing a hoop to you, I didn't remember it was you who was getting you thrown to you. Anyway, I was pulled up with Brian Deppy earlier today, about an hour ago, and Brian pointed out the street sign out there, which I had never seen. I was looking at it and marveling at it, and then I pulled up the parking lot where I have thousands of times over my career, and the gate was locked. And I had no way into the place. So again, your email's taken away, and your swipe card's taken away, but I'm glad they remembered me in some way. I'm just overwhelmed. I have things in my mind to say. I'm not so sure how I want to do this, but you have an all-star lineup. You have a team behind me of all-stars, and again, Ray O'Connell. It was always assuring to me, Ray, when I sat over on that bench and stood on the sidelines, and you and Mary Beth, your wife, were sitting right over there in the stands supporting us. So I knew we had a chance to win when you guys were sitting there, so appreciate that. Darryl, I don't know if you remember, about 2 years ago, I took my dad exams on the south side, which is where we grew up. And my dad wasn't going to live a whole lot longer than that. You and your wife stood there and spent maybe an hour talking to my dad about the south side and other things in the city of Allentown, and we really appreciate that. Matt, I haven't been at any athletic meetings in the last year or so that you have not been at, so I really appreciate that. Keith? He's wearing deer colors, just so you know. Those of you who are here, he's wearing blue and red, so just so you know that. I wore Allen colors, but he's wearing deer colors. He told me earlier that his wife dressed him, and I don't know if I believe that. I had the honor and privilege to induct Keith into the Lehigh Valley Basketball Hall of Fame several years ago, and I felt honored to do so. So Keith, thanks for being here. What can you say about this guy, Darnell Braswell? Just a little while ago, we had a table of 10 people down at the Sales, and he was inducted into the Sales University Hall of Fame, and we were all proud of him. Darnell was inducted into the Lehigh Valley Basketball Hall of Fame as well. It was great to see him go into that Hall of Fame. So I'm very proud
was taking one of our best players on that 2016 down to some AAU event in Philly or Delaware or whatever, and I said, Terrence, who's going to be the captain of the team this year? Terrence was the best player, 6'5" guard, he's playing professionally over in Qatar right now. I said, Terrence is going to be the captain of the team. Without hesitation, Terrence simply said, Darnell's the captain of the team. So again, you can see that this man's leadership is now moving into the fact that he's the head boys basketball coach. Darnell, you got 23 to 21 years to go. So just keep on pushing ahead. You got a long way to go, but I know you'll do that. Coach T, I guess part of this is the fact that Coach and I, Randy and I coached together, so maybe that has something to do with the fact that he was promoting this. So we appreciate all you do. We appreciate it. Now, sitting behind it, my brother and my sister, and again, I think I was kind of reared on Allentown and Allen High athletics. My dad graduated from here in 1950. My mom graduated from here in 1952. And my dad would pull out the cones from 50 and 52, and he would go over the football and basketball players who played in that era. And all I wanted to do was play football and basketball here at Allen High School, and I certainly got the opportunity to do that. Young players, boys and girls players, we had a junior high program at the time. So you went to South Mountain, you went to Trexler, you went to Robert Harrison Ward in 7, 8, and 9. You didn't get here until 10th grade. So the freshmen were not in this building, they were at the junior highs, now we call them middle schools. But all I wanted to do was come here and play. And I had the opportunity to do so, and that led me to get involved in the athletics here in Allentown, in the city of Allentown. Now, Mike Zambelli, standing over there from Service Electric, called me and talked earlier today, and he said, what's the address of the gym on Doug Snyder Way? And I said, that's a really good question. So I said, 000000 Doug Snyder's Way. He said, how many points did you score? And I said, 1,131. He said, that's the address. The gym address is 1131 Doug Snyder Way. I thought that was a good line right there. I don't think that's the right number, but we'll put this in. I like statement right there. Oh, by the way, boys and girls players. That era, young people don't get it. There was no three-point line. Young people said, no, you didn't play when there was no three-point line. Yeah, there was no three-point line back in the day. The hair was long and the shorts were short. You didn't want to see those short shorts. That was not a good thing. Sitting behind me also is my brother, who graduated in 76, and my sister, who graduated in 1980. So again, our family on Wyoming Street in the shadow of Jefferson Elementary School was kind of like born and raised to come here to this school. And for me to have the opportunity to coach is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. But I have to give credit to my assistant coaches, because none of this would happen without the support, the dedication, and the perseverance of my coaches. And I know some of them are here. I had kind of like two incarnations of coaching staff. Early in my career, I had the old heads. I had the old guys. I had guys my age. Bob Freed. Raise your hand, Bob. Mark Smith. Raise your hand. A young guy on that staff was Mike Kaminsky. There's Mike. Mike Kaminsky. He's now captain of the youth staff. And then, I don't think I missed anybody from that old staff. And then, kind of keeping me a little younger, I had a new incarnation. The older guys stayed with us. We stayed together for 16 years, which is amazing in the life of a high school basketball coach. But then, with Mike Kaminsky and others, we had Connor Hughes. We had Brian Christmas, who's now coaching the Southern. Dave Peters, teacher over at Lehigh Parkway. I don't think he's here. Randy, obviously, Randy T back here. Justin Rappelli was here, who's also an educator as well. So I had two groups of coaches that supported me through this, and I think they get a lot of the credit for everything that goes on, because they were the ones doing a lot of the hard work behind the scenes. But there's a lot of people in this room here that have a connection now in basketball. And teachers know the role that you have with these young people. The court here is just an extension of the classroom, and I always felt that I needed to be a teacher in the classroom and a teacher in the basketball court as well. So that was very, very important. Teachers, you are very important. We have support here at this school for basketball, unlike most schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Maybe Reading High, maybe Chester High, but there's not too many other schools in the state that are at this level of support from the community. And then I have to say that none of this would happen without the support of my wife Liz, who's sitting here too. I was coaching in New Jersey for 15 years, 11 years as a head coach. And we looked at each other. My dad actually sent me an article from the Morning Call that said, Allen basketball job open. My dad sent it to me, so I know he wanted me to take the job. And I had an interview. There were 10 people sitting in the ad building downtown. 10 people. I walked in and said, is this job the superintendency of this school this year? Or for the boys basketball coach who pays $6,000 as a stipend? So it kind of surprised me because that was a lot, but I could tell right from there that that was very, very, very important. Liz and I made the decision to come back to Pennsylvania, and I walked in here and I thought, this is unbelievable. The support you get here from administration, from teachers, from community members, from other people here. Brian Deppy's been a staff man. Put your hand up, Brian. Bill Sang is sitting here. Bill Sang is sitting here. Real community, I'm going to forget somebody, I apologize if I do, but again, the support here has been unbelievable. Down in New Jersey, I'd have to sweep the floor. I'd have to set the chairs out when we had home games. I wouldn't have to do, I'd have to take the baskets up and down. Here, all of that is taken care of because they want you to be successful. But it wasn't about the wins and losses. As my years kind of added up here, and other people have referred to it, I really kind of had a lot of fun with that running joke. And I thought, J. Barry Crumb went 25 years. The football stadium would seat 16,000 people is named after him. I played for, Bob played for, Mark played for J. Milo Seward. In fact, we were on his last team where he got his 400th win, and we stood in that shower room, by the way. We took showers back in that area as well. We don't do that now, we take showers at home. But we stood in the locker room there, in the showers, with unlit cigars given to us by our coaches. That couldn't happen today either. They were unlit, because we were celebrating Milo's 400th win. We also, by the way, played in the first game here. Believe it or not, we are that old that we played in the first game here. A couple of us tried to shoot the ball. We took 4 shots and missed. I don't know who took those shots, but probably you. Bob took those shots. And one of the juniors, Steve Carl, made the first basket ever here at the Phys Ed Center, which is now J. Milo Seward's gymnasium. So I've had a lot of fun by saying Milo Seward's has a gym, John Doppler has a court. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. I spent a lot of time downstairs in the laundry room on weekends and holidays, washing the uniforms and the practice jerseys. So I thought maybe we could use that. I thought, you know what? The lobby. Everybody has to go through the lobby and use the bathroom. I'd like a urinal. Or I'd like a stall. And you can put my plaque on the stall or the urinal. I'm not going to take it beyond that because I don't want to use that language here in the next company. I was going to have the plaque say something which is a little off color. So when Randy approached me and said, not only are we going to name the lobby, we're going to name the street in front of the lobby, I was overwhelmed because this was a labor of love. I would say to my students in class, this is how many days I have worked in my 38 years of teaching and coaching. That's 0. I have worked 0 days because this is a labor of love. I will do it for free. I will continue to do it for free. And again, for this to happen, it's just overwhelming for me and my family and everybody around me. I appreciate it. I appreciate every one of you, from the teams here, the cheerleaders, the band, all the faculty members, all the supporters of the community to be here and help me we celebrate this honor to be part of the tradition here of the Allentown School District and Allen High School. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we conclude the ceremony, I just want to let everybody know that outside, we will be going outside to take some photos of the unveiling of the street sign. You're more than welcome to join us, but this does conclude the ceremony. We thank you all, and please ask that the gymnasium is cleared so that our staff can prepare the gymnasium for our boys' basketball games. Thank you.